Adam Toledo, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, Atatiana Jefferson, Freddie Gray, Corey Jones, Daunte Wright are only a handful of those killed by police officers recently. So I think it's safe to say America has a severe problem that needs attending to. After the killing of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020, there has been an outpour of support for the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as a constant outcry to defund the police. Although there is a wide support behind this movement, there is also strong opposition. America is in great divide emotionally and politically. It is important to realize racial tension and prejudice has always existed. However, we finally have a place like social media to share it. An American actor once said, "Racism isn't getting worse, it is getting filmed." In order to properly understand the movement, let's answer 3 questions. First, what does defund the police really mean? Who is in disagreement? And third, what is Biden's administration doing to fix the problem? If you attended any of the protests after the killing of George Floyd, you may have noticed the words "defund the police" being chanted and plastered upon many posters. But what does it mean? A video posted by the Los Angeles Times in 2020 explained that the city of Los Angeles spends $3.15 billion on the police department per year. It is important to recognize that not only is that a third of the city's budget, but half of this money is unrestricted, meaning the mayor and city council can use this money for any desired program. With that being said, many movement leaders want this money to go elsewhere. Tahir Duckett, a civil rights attorney in Washington, D.C., spoke on this saying, "Let's look at this giant stack of money we're spending on policing, and let's start reinvesting that money into our communities. Many feel we rely on law enforcement too much as a problem solver, but if we shifted some attention and nourishing elsewhere, we wouldn't need so much problem solving done. Putting those dollars towards poor communities and the public school system would be a great place to start." From what I've gathered, many of those in disagreement with the Black Lives Matter movement are people who lean more on the conservative side of things, and unfortunately, they have prejudiced opinions of their own. A lot of the disagreement entangled with the term defund the police, I feel, is caused by what is lost in translation. Many of those against it believe that those in favor are wishing to strip law enforcement from our societies almost entirely. But that just isn't the case. Law is important, but it shouldn't be the largest priority in order to fix the problem. Another conflict connected to the movement that isn't usually mentioned is that a large portion of the Latino and Hispanic American community carry some frustration. During the beginning of the protests, many Latinos joined their community in order to protest justice for George Floyd and other victims. Recently, however, many members of the Hispanic community have fallen victim to different crimes. For lack of a better word, a trend that circles mostly in California is attacking and even murdering paleteros, which are Mexican street vendors. These last few years, hardworking, honest members of society have been robbed, ransacked, harassed, and in some cases murdered in broad daylight. The reason why these crimes have caused some tension between the Black and Latino community is because almost all attacks on street vendors have been committed by African Americans. Due to this, immigrant activists and supporters of the Latino community have expressed that they have stood behind Black Lives Matter protests and the movement and want the same respect in return. A Brown empowerment page on social media posted feeling saying, "We are minorities too. We suffer with you and are victims of the same inequalities. Because of this, we must come together and not stray apart." As you can see, an array of different emotions have been circling America because of all that is going on. So many questions have been asked. An important one to wonder is what the Biden administration is doing in response to all of this. JoeBiden.com has plenty of information regarding their stance. For starters, it says too many Black and brown people are subject to hate crimes and incarceration. The administration is calling for the immediate passage of the Congressman Bobby Scott's Safe Justice Act, a bill to reform our criminal justice system. They agree that America is making many mistakes and we need to fight and get a better we need to fight to get to a better place. An article posted April of this year mentioned that Biden has made it a point to say he isn't necessarily in favor of defunding the police. Instead, he wishes to refocus some of law enforcement's expenditures within the department, using it to invest in community policing efforts, which includes the hiring of more police officers and teaching them better. In conclusion, as you can see, there are many waves of emotions pertaining to this topic. Most importantly, I believe equality for each minority is utmost importance. No one deserves to be murdered, especially because of their race. We have a long road ahead of us, but we also have many tools to help fix it. Thank you.